You know, I wanted to make a point about the escalation in rhetoric by playing a clip from Star Wars where Emperor Palpatine says, "The attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed." Because I can't because of copyright issues. And I was like, should I do it? I can't do it. The story this morning, Trump uses 9/11 footage to advance right-wing attacks on Ilhan Omar. Now, here's it's just, I'm just so tired of everyone being absolutely insane. Complete and utter nonsense. Trump posted a tweet because Ilhan Omar referred to 9/11 as some people, what did he say? What did she say? Some people did something. Yes, it's very offensive to a lot of people considering it's, I think, the worst terror attack in the history of the United States. They knocked down buildings with airplanes. About 3,000 people lost their lives. And in the following decades to come, or decade plus, a lot of people have died from cancer and other complications due to the air, the toxicity, first responders, the people who have lost their lives. It was a terrifying nightmare. It was not some people doing something. Now, I will say, I think, following this, there's a bunch of right-wing attacks on Ilhan Omar that are pushing it as hard as possible. And this is where you start to get crazy, right? So someone, I don't know, they tweeted out something that, like, Ilhan Omar was laughing about how some professor talked about Al-Qaeda. And they were like, how dare she? I think Donald Trump Jr. retweeted it. And I'm like, okay, chill out. Listen, is it offensive that she refers to 9/11 as some people doing something? Well, yeah, absolutely. And we can criticize her for that. And I think Dan Crenshaw had probably the best take. It's well reasoned, and let me see if I have. So I have Dan Crenshaw. She screenshotted it. First member of Congress to ever describe terrorists who killed thousands of Americans on 9/11 as some people who did something. Unbelievable. Spot on. Dan's clearly upset by this, disrespectful statement. It's not the end of the world. He's not calling for violence. He's just criticizing her. That's it. He's a politician criticizing another politician. Welcome to America. What did Ilhan Omar say? "This is dangerous incitement. Given the death threats I face, I hope leaders of both parties will join me in condemning it. My love and commitment to our country and that of my colleagues should never be in question. We are all Americans." Dan Crenshaw simply criticized what you said. He didn't say you weren't American or anything like that. In fact, I think Dan may have responded. "I never called you un-American. I did not incite any violence against you. You described an act of terrorism on American soil that killed thousands of innocent lives as some people did something. It's still unbelievable, as is your response here." Imam Mohammed Tawhidi said, as Speaker Pelosi, will tell you that she doesn't speak or understand English the way the rest of us do. I think he's just saying, Nancy Pelosi, obviously the Democrats are coming to her defense, and the left is acting like it's threats against her life, and they're advancing these attacks. Well, Donald Trump the other day tweeted out this video where you have her saying it.
CARE was founded after 9/11 because they recognized that some people did something.
And then it shows 9/11 footage. Some people did something. It was offensive, and look, in the realm of politics, you have to be careful about what you say. There are a lot of instances where I think, people can go too far. And like I mentioned right now, Donald Trump Jr. retweeted something where it's some old video, and Ilhan Omar is talking about this professor who every time he says Al-Qaeda, he gets tense, and she laughs about it. And it was a conservative group, I think, said, "How could you, laugh about these groups?" And I'm like, hold on, man. Look. She was making a point about, when people refer to the United States or the U.S. Armed Forces or the president or, America, people just say America. But this guy was genuinely the gravity of what Al-Qaeda was serious. And I couldn't even figure out whether it was positive or negative. It was literally just a statement about, she was laughing at this way, some way a guy spoke when he highlighted Al-Qaeda. That's when you start going too far. Do you remember when everybody was ragging on Ocasio-Cortez for not really being, from the block or whatever? Somebody took a photo of her walking down the hallway and said, "Look at those clothes. She doesn't look poor to me," or something like that. And everyone ratioed this guy. Conservatives and Democrats are like, dude, what are you talking about? Nobody cares what she's wearing. I feel like you have to be careful about how close you get. Should we call out Ilhan Omar for what she said about 9/11? I think so, yes, because Ilhan Omar, it's what I refer to as crop dusting, right? Do you know what crop dusting is? When the plane gets really close and sprays over the crops, it's like almost touching the ground. She didn't crash full speed into the ground. No, she grazes really close to saying things that are just like, whoa, dude. You know, there's a lot of people on the left that defend her, saying she's not anti-Semitic and all that stuff. And I will push back on that and say, while I certainly think there are many conservatives who, you know, throw their arms in the air and, you know, clutch their pearls at the things she's saying, and that's a bit too much, she is anti-Semitic. She is, okay? She is. That doesn't mean that she's going to go around waving Nazi flags, okay? It's not like you are, or it's not completely black or white. It's not 0 or 100, okay? Ilhan Omar is associated with various groups, a progressive wing of the Democratic Party, that tend to have anti-Semitic views, and this is not my opinion. This is reporting from the New York Times and Tablet Magazine. The Women's March, for instance, okay, where Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez spoke in New York, they are outed, okay? It is confirmed, according to the New York Times and Tablet Magazine, that they hold fringe anti-Semitic conspiracy theories about the Jews and everything they're doing. It's like really weird stuff. So when you look at what Ilhan Omar says over and over again, some people did something as offensive. She didn't outright slam, Americans who lost their lives. No, she's got as close as possible to diminishing or trivializing what happened. And I think the reality is, I don't think she understands. I really don't. You know, look at her response. Simply because Dan Crenshaw said this is unbelievable, her response is, it's dangerous incitement. And that's why I made the joke about Emperor Palpatine, this attempt on my life. Look, somebody recently got arrested for actually sending threats to Ilhan Omar. And that is evil. Absolutely evil, and crosses the line. Look, man, I think she's an anti-Semite. She got elected. That's these are the rules we all agree to play by. She got elected, she represents her district. She says things that I find to be crop dusting racism and anti-Semitism without being overtly anti-Semitic. I do not like that. I do not like that she's affiliated with anti-Semitic groups. I do not like that the identitarian left places identity in government over what works and what helps people. And I don't like the fact that the group she's affiliated with and other speakers hold like weird anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. And you can say that, right? But when you get these fringe weirdos who are sending death threats, like that is evil. That crosses the line. Here's the problem. Yes, we can all recognize death threats are wrong. Every single one of us. But to act like Dan Crenshaw, of all people, who is such like a mild-mannered and calm dude, just to be like, I'm criticizing you. He said it's unbelievable. Think about all of the things he could have said about her. He could have said way worse things. He could have said things that are way over the top. This is actually probably the most tepid criticism you can probably get. Unbelievable. It is. I'm shocked to hear that. And I mean this as a point of respect for Dan to be critical of what Ilhan Omar said, which I believe should be criticized, without smearing ad hominems, without anything ridiculous. But look what they do. Look how they respond. My God, this is the problem. Okay, the Democrats are off the deep end, and at some point, Americans are just going to be like, these people are crazy. Do I agree with Dan Crenshaw criticizing Ilhan Omar? I do. He didn't say overtly mean things about her. He didn't say she's un-American. He just literally said unbelievable. It's like one of the most tepid criticisms for what she said, and I think it was a proportional response. She said something that is grazing, offense, trivializing. It's like not like she came out and said, F these people or anything like that. No, she just kind of diminished what people felt and the struggles. And he said it was unbelievable. It's like, yeah, that's pretty tepid. What happens? You get Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think it's in here. Look at this. She posts the poem from the Holocaust Museum. Oh my God, these people have lost their minds. Dude, Dan Crenshaw criticizing Ilhan Omar by calling this unbelievable is in no way anywhere near what the Holocaust was. And this is how insane they've become. I don't even know. And look, Donald Trump showing what she said next to what happened is in no way an incitement to violence. He's literally not even saying anything about her. You interpret the meaning by this. It shows her saying some people did something. Then it shows 9/11. That's it. That's it. You can infer the criticism there, because it does feel like she's diminishing what's happening. Thank you, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, for reminding us that first they came for the socialists and I did not speak out, etc., etc. Yes, I absolutely believe that Dan Crenshaw calling Ilhan Omar unbelievable and someone showing footage of what happened next to how she describes it as, and you know what, man? They're insane. And I have to wonder what's happening. Look at this nonsense. Absolute nonsense. Look at what Rashida Tlaib said. Enough is enough. No more silence, with New York Post and now Trump taking Elon's words out of context. Out of context. I don't think you know what that means. To incite violence towards her. Let's talk about out of context. Here's a quote from Rashida Tlaib. Incite violence toward her. That's out of context. Yes, she said those words. I stripped them from her pointing the finger at someone else. Taking exactly what Ilhan Omar said and contrasting it with what literally happened is not taking her words out of context. Saying on Twitter that it's unbelievable is not taking her words out of context. It's mind-blowing. We have, here's the thing. Look, AOC, Bernie Sanders, and Rashida Tlaib are the far left wing of the Democrats. The moderate Democrats are too busy twiddling their thumbs and not paying attention. But my God, can we get a motherfucking Democrat to come out and say, you guys are nuts? Dude, seriously. What is this? The Holocaust Museum? Oh my God. It's like 0 to 100. Just immediately. So like someone goes, I quite don't like Ilhan Omar. Boom! All of a sudden they're like, they're threatening my life. It's like, oh my God, dude. Dan Crenshaw didn't even say anything like he didn't like her. He literally said, how unbelievable that you would say that. And the response, like, look at this. I'm sorry that Donald Trump showed what you were saying alongside what happened on 9/11. And what? Someone did something. It's critical. We get it. That's the point. That's about, there you go. That's about it. We remember. It's criticizing Ilhan Omar. And quite literally, it is a Palpatine moment of the attempt on my life has left me scarred and deformed. Because words are violence. Words are violence, and I think it's just, we're in Wally world. And if we can't find a Democrat who's going to say something like, whoa, you guys need to chill out. This is like, this is not proportional response. I'm going to end with one thing. This is why I like Andrew Yang. This is why I like Andrew Yang. I'll tell you why. I will, full disclosure, I've donated to him, but check this out. You don't have to like him. I don't, don't like him by all means, but look at this. You'll respect this. 2020 candidate Andrew Yang defends $1,000 a month program, slams Democrats for wanting to abolish the Electoral College. This is what I'm talking about. This is why I like Yang. Because it's like, he seems like a regular guy who's willing to, he's got left-wing policy positions. In some instances, like pretty far left. He's rather moderate, though, on a lot of it. He's got a huge list. Much respect. But check this out. Where's that quote? It's really funny. I thought they had it highlighted. He says something to the effect of, where did they put it? Here we go. I will say as a Democrat, it's very bad form to look like you're trying to change the rules when you've been losing by the rules that everyone agreed on for decades. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. It's like we don't have this anymore. And I think it's a combination of most Democrats are just frail. The far-left Democrats are notably strong, but they're a little over the top. Like for AOC to come out with like a Holocaust memorial like photo, it's like, dude, it's just criticism of something she said. Like no one is calling for the Holocaust. Like that's insane. What the fuck? Now I'm swearing. But at least Yang comes out and says, getting rid of the Electoral College, to me, I don't even know why we are talking about it in the sense that it has been part of our laws for decades, and it would require a constitutional amendment to change the Electoral College. Thank you. You got all these, you got Beto O'Rourke saying we should look into getting rid of it. Yes, popular vote only. It's like, dude, you're speaking garbage nonsense. Yang steps up and he's like, what? we would need a constitutional amendment to change that. And why are we trying to change the rules that we all agreed on for decades? Thank you. Thank you. I see. This is what we need, okay? This is why, love him or hate him, okay? I know there's a lot of people who don't like Yang. And again, full disclosure, I donated to him. But here's the thing. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone like this on the debate stage? You can challenge his ideas, but wouldn't it be nice to return to that real conversation where he's being honest about what's going on at the Electoral College? No. Hillary and Trump agreed to the same rules as everybody else. Hillary lost. Stop bitching. And he's a bit more eloquent than that. But that's the fact. If you can't appeal to the base that we all agreed on, like how the system works, then you don't deserve to win, and changing the rules is not going to mean you deserve to win, by no means. So anyway, I didn't want to make this a Yang video. I wanted to just point out these people. Bernie lost me. He endorsed Hillary. You know, I like him more than most politicians. I gotta admit, but you know, it's like it's just tribalism at this point. I feel like it's all become insane tribalism. Rashida Tlaib, it's out of context. No, it's not. It's completely in context. I'm just getting so fed up. I'll have another video for you coming up at 1 p.m. Thanks for hanging out. I will see you then.